Hi everyone, this is Terry from Ramblings of the Texas Craft Room. What I'm going to ramble about today is the Bug Magazine. I have 3 submissions in this magazine, so I'm very excited. Let me open it up and show you where I'm at. I am on page, there I am, on page 23. I also have one on page 24, and I also have one on page 20, which is the Grandma. Okay, let me show you basically how I did these. This card right here was done with a napkin and saran wrap. And this little pumpkin with the little black crow was a napkin that I received in a swap. And so I ironed that with the saran wrap and onto cardstock. I have a video that shows you how to do it if you look on my blog. Also on YouTube I have a video that shows you how to do that. And this diamond pattern window that I got here is I just cut this pane off of the wild card cartridge on page 33, and there it is right there, and I cut it at 5.5 inches. And then once I got it cut and placed it on top of the napkin, I just cut some strips of black cardstock and just made a pane around the window. This is a 5x7 card. So it's a pretty good size card. But I just framed out the window. And any scene would work for this card. Anything that you look out and see. This card was just, this napkin, I'm sorry, was just perfect because it looked hand drawn. It was really pretty. And this is just some old ribbon that I had with an old button. And this is just a little generic thank you that I got at Michael's. And inside, I just kept this cartridge, and I don't know what cartridge I got it off of, but I will look it up and put it on the video, so if you want to make one of these. And I'm pretty sure I cut it at 6 inches, but let me figure out which cartridge I got this off of, because I'm not sure. But anyway, that's how I did that one. It was really simple to make, and you could take the thank you here. I tore it, but I'll fix it. But you could at least put the thank you there. Oops, sorry, flip it out. You could put the thank you there instead of putting it at the top. So there's lots of different ways you could do it, but it could be Happy Fall. It could just be, this is a really pretty napkin. Could do a lot of things with. Okay, now the next one I did was this one right here, this Mr. and Mrs. And this is an A2 card, so I did it at 5 inches. And I did this out of tissue paper and saran wrap. The top half was some tissue paper that says Mr. and Mrs. And the bottom half was a tissue paper that just had a damask on it. And I got this at Hallmark inside the Walmart. And they were $1 for each tissue paper. And it makes a really nice card. And if you don't have the wild card cartridge, that's where I got this, off the wild card cartridge on page 69 right here. If you don't have this, you can easily just make an A2 card, and then if you have a 2-inch circle punch, you can just lay it in there like that and punch it. So you don't have to use the wild card cartridge. And then this Mr. and Mrs. here, I got off of I think it's Sentimental. Yeah, Sweethearts, I'm sorry, Sweethearts cartridge on page 63. Right there, and I cut that at 2 inches, and it fit perfectly inside the approximately 2-inch circle. Okay, and then I just put some ribbon and some pins, and both of these pins were white, and I just took a black Sharpie and made it black so it would blend. And then on the inside, I just figured out where it was going to be, and I put my Mr. and Mrs. and a stamp that said Happy Anniversary. It's a real simple card to do, especially if you have the wild card. They do all the work for you, but even if you don't, you just punch it and it works perfect. Okay, now the next one I did was this Grandma tag. And what I did is I cut a tag and fit the page. You can use any tag you want. I'm not really sure which tag I use. I'll look it up and I'll put it on the video. But I did fit the page. It came out to be about 11.5 inches. And I just picked out a hard cardstock that had a really pretty pattern paper. See, so it would be really, it looks like a wallpaper that would be appropriate for wallpaper. And what I did is I cut her, let me see, I cut her right here on page 43, And this comes out of Sentimentals. And you can see her here on a typewriter. Well, I didn't want her on a typewriter. I wanted her on the Cricut. So what I did is I cut it out and I just cut the typewriter away. And then I took that piece and I cut it down and moved it further back so I would have room for her book. So I had to cut her out in several different one size. I cut her out at 9 inches, but I had several different colors. I cut her out in hard cardstock with the black, and then I cut her out again so I could get her skin tone. Then I cut her out again so I could get her dress, and then I cut little shoes for her, and then I had to also cut one for her hair, and then I just pieced them all together. Now when you cut her out, you can see here that this one shows, the blackout shows it's solid right there and the leg is behind. But here you can see that the leg is in front. The leg of the table I'm talking about is in front of her skirt. So you kind of decide how you wanted it. I wanted it like this, obviously. I wanted her full skirt. So I cut everything out in the blackout. I cut everything in this one right here so that the size of the skirt, so I wouldn't have to fit around this leg. Okay? So when you cut her out, you're not going to get the collar, the belt, or the cuff. So I had to cut those. So they're just little rectangles. Just cut some little rectangles and fit them on there. And that works perfect. Now on the table, I put a little piece of lace. And then of course I took the typewriter and cut it off her hands. And I had to make her a little hand. But then I moved it back to the table. And I cut off anything that looked like the typewriter. I just evened it out. And I cut it out in green. And I had some little tiny letters, the black letters, and I just wrote Cricut on the side. Now the little Cricut head here, how I made him is I cut him from the side of a box. I just took if you just take your knife and cut it like that. If you cut it deep enough, I didn't cut it deep enough, but if you cut it like that, the cardboard will come up, and then you can just take it up just like that. Okay, and then I took it and I just cut around its little head, and I glued it, or I pop dotted it up right here on here. And these little antennas, I used a little tiny piece of green wire that I had, and I made the little antennas for him. Okay, now on the little Cricut cartridges that I did, what I did is I took 3 Cricut cartridges like this, and I put them down on my scanner, and I scanned them, and then I got them into Word, and I just squished them, and I reduced them and reduced them until they were about 1 inch tall. So they're about 1 inch tall and 1/2 inch wide. And when I printed them off, and then I put them next to the Cricut. Okay, then for up here, this is the actual picture of my granddaughter and her cousin Donovan, and that's my granddaughter too. And I just went through all the pictures that I have of the grandkids, and I just searched out pictures that she was far away that would really be too small to use for anything else, but they were perfect for this. Now these little foil, they're made by Miss Elizabeth, and I got them at the dollar store, but they're just little frames. They're little foil frames, and they had a little frame around the frame, and I just cut that off to make it even look more like a frame. I thought that would be appropriate to be on the wall for Grandma. And this is just a flower, just a sticker that's a flower, and I put them on the wall. And on my printer, I printed out, "Grandma, thank you for keeping our memories." And as you can see, I kind of pop dotted it up. I just squished it together and put some dots here, some foam dots here, so it would kind of like a banner. And then on my printer, I also printed out Grandma's Scrap Room, and I just made her just a little tiny sign that went there. Now on the little book here, I did the book, came from A Child's Year, on page 47, and I cut that at, let me look, I cut that at 1 inch, this little book right here. And what I did was I went to a scrapbooking magazine that I had, and there were lots of advertisements in there, and they showed people sitting around a table scrapbooking. And so I cut out one of those tiny pictures. You probably can't tell it. Oh, sorry, hit the camera. But right there's a little tiny actual scrapbooking picture, and I fit that inside there, and then I glued her hand on top of it. And then these are just blank pages for her scrapbooking. And that's how I did the little grandma. And she just turned out so cute. I have her in my craft room, and everybody comments on her. She's just adorable. Wish I was as skinny as that grandma, but she's adorable. But you can do, you wouldn't have to do a grandma. You could, not do gray hair and, not make her a grandma. You could just make her anything. But I thought this was really, really cute, and it was really a good idea to make the grandma. So anyway, that's what I did. And so I thank you very much for looking and sharing in my joy. I got some really very nice emails and some very sweet comments on my blog. And now I'm up to 108 people on my blog. I'm so excited. I know most people didn't think that's a lot, but I thought it was just going to be me and my best friend looking at my videos. And so I just was kind of excited. She lives a long ways away, my friend does, and so I made the videos mainly to share with her some of the stuff that I was doing. So it's kind of neat that everybody else or some people liked it. So it was kind of nice. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm in the process of moving, so I'm going to get a couple other videos together that I've been trying to do before I get moved. And then when I get moved, I'm going to have a much bigger craft room. So I'm really excited about that. So as soon as I get moved and get my craft room set up, I'm going to show you pictures. I have a lot of wonderful, exciting things I want to do in that craft room. So thank you very much. And if you get a chance, pick up the Bug magazine. It's really some good articles in there, some really good stuff. I don't have anything coming out in the next one because I ended up signing up for too many swaps and I did not have time to create anything. So I don't have anything coming up in the next one, but maybe I'll get the one after that. But anyway, if they still are looking for submissions, so if you have something you want to send them, please do. They would love to see it. You can just email it to them, and if they like it, they'll let you know. All right, thanks guys. Bye.